Not every person in your life is meant to stay forever, and not every connection deserves to be nurtured, because some ties are not ties at all but chains that keep you from becoming who you are meant to be. You have to understand this truth clearly. Negativity is not always just a thought inside your head. It is often a voice outside of you, someone you call a friend, a relative, a colleague, someone who smiles at you but bleeds you slowly with their words, with their actions, with their presence. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you walked away from a conversation and felt smaller rather than stronger? How many times have you shared a dream only to have it laughed at or dismissed? How many times have you tried to rise only to be pulled down by the weight of another's doubt? These are not random accidents. These are signs that the environment you allow into your life is either feeding you or poisoning you, and when it poisons you long enough, you begin to mistake the sickness for your own nature. You begin to think, maybe I really am not capable, maybe my dreams are too much, maybe I should shrink to fit their comfort. But here is the truth. Negativity is contagious. It spreads like smoke through every corner of your being. It clouds your vision. It blurs your confidence. It steals your energy, and worst of all, it convinces you that this is normal, that being drained is part of life, that walking on eggshells is just what relationships are supposed to be. But no, this is not normal. This is not how love or friendship or loyalty are supposed to feel. Toxic ties disguise themselves well. Sometimes they wear the mask of humor, always joking at your expense. Sometimes they wear the mask of concern, always doubting you in the name of protecting you. Sometimes they wear the mask of loyalty, reminding you of how long they have known you while using that history as a rope to keep you bound to a version of yourself you no longer wish to be. And if you do not recognize the disguise, you will accept the poison as medicine. You will swallow their lies as truth and wonder why you cannot move forward. You must learn this distinction. Not everyone who is around you is for you. Not every voice in your circle deserves access to your spirit. And not every relationship deserves to graduate into your future. Some people belong only in your past. Some people belong only at a distance. Some people belong nowhere near your heart and your peace. Cutting toxic ties is not cruelty, it is clarity. It is clarity. It is not hate. It is healing. It is not rejection. It is redirection toward a future that requires your full strength, your clean energy, your unbroken spirit. When you cut the tie, you do not destroy a person, you simply destroy the hold they had on your destiny. And that is the highest act of self-respect you can practice. Now hear this carefully. When you hold on to toxic people, you are paying rent on a house that does not belong to you. You are financing the destruction of your own future. You are watering weeds and expecting them to turn into fruit trees. They will not, they cannot, because their root is not built for your growth. Their soil does not support your seed. Their presence cannot carry your promise. Your energy is currency, and every day you are spending it. The question is, where are you investing it? Are you pouring it into people who multiply it, or into people who drain it? Are you surrounding yourself with voices that call out your strength, or voices that echo your doubt? Are you keeping around you those who clap for your wins, or those who secretly hope you fail? These questions are not soft. These questions are survival. And here's what you must accept. Some people will not like the fact that you are changing. Some people will resist the moment you begin to rise, because your rise threatens the comfort of their own stagnation. Your boundaries will feel like betrayal to those who benefited from your lack of them. Your distance will feel like disrespect to those who never respected you. Your growth will feel like rejection to those who only loved the smaller version of you. You must understand this. Their discomfort is not your responsibility. Their anger is not your problem. Their resistance is not your burden to carry. You are not cutting ties to hurt them. You are cutting ties to heal yourself. You are not walking away to punish them. You are walking away to protect yourself, and in doing so you are sending a clear message to your future. I am ready, I am worthy, I am committed. If you want to transform your life, you cannot bring yesterday's weight into tomorrow. As opportunity, you must delete your old self, and part of that deletion includes deleting the people who keep you tied to the old version of you. And yes, it will be painful. Yes, it will be lonely at times. Yes, it will feel like loss, but it is not loss. It is liberation. It is not emptiness. It is expansion. It is expansion. It is not the end. It is the beginning of your true freedom. So let this part of your journey start with honesty. Look around your life and ask, who leaves me lighter, who leaves me heavier, who speaks life into my dreams and who quietly poisons them, who reminds me of my power and who constantly reminds me of my weakness, who fuels me with love and who feeds me with doubt. These answers will reveal everything you need to know. And when you know, you cannot unknow. You can no longer pretend. You can no longer excuse their behavior. You can no longer stay chained by ties that are silently killing you. This is the beginning. This is the first act of courage, to see the toxic ties for what they are and to make the decision to cut them, not tomorrow, not someday, but now, because your life is waiting. Awareness is powerful, but awareness without action is paralysis. It is not enough to see the toxic ties. You must have the courage to cut them, and to cut them cleanly, because partial cuts still leave threads, and threads are strong enough to pull you back into cycles that you already escaped from. So let us talk about how to break free with clarity, with strength, with finality. The first step is redefining loyalty. Most people stay tied to toxicity because they confuse loyalty with bondage. They believe that because someone has been in their life for years, they owe them a lifetime. They believe that shared history equals eternal obligation. But hear this carefully. Loyalty to someone else should never cost you betrayal of yourself. If your loyalty requires you to shrink to silence, to settle, to self-destruct, then that is not loyalty, it is captivity, and you must release it. The second step is setting boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. Gates with locks, gates with keys, that only you control. Boundaries teach others how to treat you. Boundaries are the language of self-respect, and if you do not set them clearly, others will set them for you in ways that suffocate your soul. So you must practice this new discipline. You must learn to say no, without apology, to say enough without guilt, to say this is not acceptable, without hesitation. Every boundary you enforce becomes a thread of rope pulling you out of the pit and toward freedom. The third step is distance. Distance is the medicine that allows you to detox from toxicity. You cannot heal in the same environment that made you sick. You cannot grow in the same soil that poisoned your roots. Distance does not always mean cutting someone out entirely, but it does mean limiting their access to your mind, your energy, your emotions, and your time. You cannot give unlimited access to people who only take and never give, because unlimited access to the wrong people will bankrupt your spirit. The fourth step is silence. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. You do not have to argue with everyone. You release. You do not have to defend every boundary you set. You do not have to explain your evolution to those who benefited from your stagnation. Your silence is your announcement. Your silence is your confirmation. Your silence is your graduation into a higher life. You owe no explanations for choosing peace. The fifth step is replacement. Cutting toxic ties will leave empty space, and if you do not fill that space wisely, you will be tempted to let the old toxicity back in. So you must replace the negative voices with positive ones, the doubters with encouragers, the dream killers with dream builders. Seek out communities that celebrate growth, people who are unafraid of your shine, people who rise when you rise because they know your win does not steal from them, your win adds to them. The sixth step is forgiveness, but understand forgiveness clearly. Forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. Forgiveness means releasing the hold they had on your energy, because holding on to resentment is still holding on to them, and if they live in your resentment, they still own you. So forgive not because they deserve it, but because you deserve freedom. Release their name from your anger, release their face from your nightmares, release their words from your memory so that you can step forward without chains. The seventh step is rebuilding your identity. Toxic ties often convince you that you are less than you are. They feed you lies long enough that you begin to believe them. So when you cut the ties, you must rebuild yourself. You must remind yourself of your worth. You must affirm daily that you are strong, you are capable, you are enough. You must look in the mirror and declare that you will no longer measure yourself through the eyes of those who never saw your value. The eighth step is preparation. Understand this: toxic people will test your resolve when you cut the ties. They will knock at the door of your peace. They will try to slip back in through guilt or manipulation or nostalgia. They will remind you of history. They will make promises. They will wear new masks. But you must be prepared. You must recognize the test for what it is and stand firm, because every time you say no to the old, you are saying yes to the new. Every time you shut the door on what once broke you, you are opening the door to what will build you. The ninth step is focus. Keep your eyes forward. Stop rehearsing old conversations. Stop replaying old betrayals. Stop recycling old pain. Because the more you feed the memory, the more you keep the toxic tie alive. Your energy must not go backward, it must go forward. Pour yourself into new goals, new growth, new opportunities, new love. Because the best revenge against toxicity is not bitterness. The best revenge is building a life so full, so vibrant, so powerful that the past looks small against the scale of your future. The 10th and final step is faith. You must believe that cutting ties is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your rebirth. The universe does not remove people without reason. Every cut creates space. Every absence creates room for abundance. But only if you trust the process. Only if you have the faith to walk into the unknown without dragging the comfort of the chains behind you. Remember this: the strategy of freedom is not complicated, but it is costly. It will cost you relationships. It will cost you familiarity. It will cost you false comfort. But what you gain will outweigh it all. What you gain is your peace, your power, your clarity, your energy, your future. And when you have walked these steps, when you have executed this strategy, you will look back and see that the ties that once held you were never ropes made of steel. They were only threads made of fear. And once you cut them, they could no longer control you. Now you know the strategy, but strategy is only half the battle. The other half is transformation. Once the toxic ties are gone, once the negativity is cut out, what do you build in its place? What do you become without the weight of their voices? Part 3 will give you that answer. It will show you how to rise, rebuild, and transform into the unstoppable version of yourself. When the toxic ties are cut, there is silence, and at first that silence feels uncomfortable, because you have been conditioned to chaos. You have been trained to noise. You are used to defending yourself, explaining yourself, shrinking yourself. But now, the chains are gone, and the silence is here, and in that silence is your rebirth. This is the moment where you do not just heal, you rebuild, you transform, you become something stronger than before, because pain is not wasted when it is transformed into purpose. Every scar becomes a signature. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every wound becomes wisdom. Every lesson becomes foundation for a higher life. The first part of transformation is reclaiming your voice. Your voice, once silenced by criticism and manipulation, must rise again. You must speak your truth without permission. You must affirm your value without apology. You must declare your direction without hesitation, because the new you is not waiting for approval. The new you is leading the way. The second part is energy. Your energy, once drained by toxic ties, must now be invested into growth, into vision, into creation. Because the energy you once spent surviving their storms is now free to build your empire, free to create your art, free to strengthen your body and mind. Your energy is your currency. And from now on you will spend it on things that multiply your life, not diminish it. The third part is identity. Toxic ties often made you question who you are. But now you decide, now you name yourself, not with the labels they threw at you, but with the truth you carry within. You are not too much, you are not too little, you are not impossible. You are not impossible, you are a force, a light, a builder, a survivor turned warrior. The fourth part is relationships. Once you cut the wrong ties, you make space for the right ones. People who will not drain you but water you. People who will not mock your dreams but multiply them. People who are not threatened by your rise but inspired by it. And this time you will choose carefully. This time you will protect wisely. This time you will build circles that mirror your values. And finally, the transformation is about vision. The old you could not see beyond survival, but the new you sees beyond the horizon. The new you sees possibility and purpose. The new you knows that destiny does not unfold in comfort, it unfolds in courage, and every step you now take is proof that you chose courage over comfort, faith over fear, future over past. So step forward into the silence and let it become your sanctuary. Step forward into the unknown and let it become your proving ground. Step forward into the fire and let it forge you into something unbreakable. You are not what they said you are, not the pain you endured. You are not the betrayal you suffered. You are not the chains you carried. You are the survivor who walked away. You are the warrior who cut the ties. You are the creator who builds from ashes, and you are the leader of your own life. And as you rise, you will see that cutting ties was never about losing. It was always about gaining your freedom, your clarity, your strength, and your future. Now the choice is in your hands. You can go back to the weight of their world, or you can step into the light of your own. This is your rebirth. This is your turning point. This is your revolution. Stand tall, cut the ties, walk free, and let the world witness the new you, the unstoppable you, the true you. Delete the old self, cut the toxic ties, and rise into the life you were always meant to live. Because your future does not belong to the voices that broke you, it belongs to the strength that rebuilt you.